Good morning, dear students. Welcome to my third session. Let us continue with Lesson 1 Nutrition, the Food Supplying System. In our last class, we discussed about the relation between water and photosynthesis, air and photosynthesis. In this class, we will discuss about light and photosynthesis. What is the role of light in the process of photosynthesis? A Dutch scientist, John Ingenhousz, noticed that plants release oxygen during photosynthesis in the presence of light. Later, another scientist called Engelmann re- revealed that the maximum rate of photosynthesis takes place at red and blue rays of light. This invention led to more studies on effect of light on photosynthesis and the role of different pigments in plants and the utilization of light energy. Here we have an activity which was done by John Ingenhousz. Oxygen is produced during photosynthesis in the presence of light. This is also called as hydrilla experiment. To perform this activity, we should take a beaker with pond water. Take a funnel and place some twigs of hydrilla or elodea in such a way that the cut ends of the plant must be in the narrow end of the funnel. Keep wide-mouthed portion of the funnel in the beaker containing water. Invert a test tube full of water over the stem of the funnel. Make sure that the water level in the beaker is above than the water level in the stem of the funnel. Place the apparatus in the sun for at least 2 to 3 hours. You can observe some gas bubbles from the cut ends of the hydrilla plant, and these are collected at the end of the test tube by pushing the water into the beaker. Then take out the test tube carefully from the beaker by closing its mouth with thumb. What is the empty space at the end of the test tube? It is nothing but oxygen. How can you say that that is oxygen? When a glowing matchstick or an incense stick is introduced into the test tube, it would burst into flames. Hence proved that oxygen is produced because oxygen supports combustion. Let's watch the video regarding this experiment.
This activity is to show the production of oxygen during photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. The materials required for this activity are beaker with pond water, hydrilla plant, stemmed funnel, test tube. Consider the apparatus shown in the image. Take a beaker and fill it with pond water. Place water plant like hydrilla or elodea inside the beaker and cover it by a short-stemmed funnel. Take test tube and invert it over the stem of the funnel. Ensure that the level of water in the beaker must be above the level of the end of inverted funnel. Place the entire assembly of apparatus in the sunlight for at least 3 days. It is observed that in place of water, air is filled in it. This air is actually a gas and is collected in the test tube. Test the gas collected in the test tube by inserting a glowing incense stick, which would burst into flames. This indicates the presence of oxygen. The air bubbles formed in the test tube is of oxygen gas.
In relation with light and photosynthesis, we have another activity. That is, sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. This experiment is also called as black pepper experiment or light screen experiment. Let us discuss the activity. To prove this, we need to take a destarched potted plant. That means take a potted plant and place it in the dark for about 1 week so that the plants completely utilize the starch present in it and becomes starch free. What we call it as destarched plant. Select one leaf and cover the middle part of the leaf with a black pepper in such a way that light does not enter the dark part. Place the plant in the sunlight. After few hours, the exposure of sunlight, detach the leaf, remove the black pepper and test it for starch. We can observe that the only part of the leaf which is exposed to sunlight turned to blue-black and the covered part of the leaf remain colorless. That means photosynthesis does not take place. Hence proved that sunlight is needed for the preparation of starch. Let's have a video regarding this experiment.
Take a plant having destarched leaves, that is, a plant which is placed in the dark for 3 days. Remember the process of destarching the leaves as performed in activity 1, presence of starch in leaves. Wrap one of its leaves with black pepper on a design is cut. Fix the black pepper on the leaf with the help of clips such that light should not enter the dark part. Now place this plant in the sunlight for few hours. Later, test the leaf that is covered by black pepper for the presence of starch by pouring iodine solution on the leaf. It is observed that only the parts of the leaf which are exposed to the light through cut-out design turn to blue-black, indicating the presence of starch.
Now, let us discuss the relation between chlorophyll and photosynthesis. Where does photosynthesis takes place? John Ingenhousz, in his further experiments, proposed that only the green plant parts could carry out the process of photosynthesis. In the year 1817, two scientists, namely Pelletier and Caventou, obtained an extract of the green colored substance and named it chlorophyll, literally means green leaf. The exact location of the part containing chlorophyll was not known till another 6 decades after Pelletier and Caventou discovered chlorophyll. It was believed to be spread in the cells of green plant parts. In the year 1883, a scientist namely Julius Van Sachs observed that chlorophyll in plant cells is not spread throughout the entire cell. It is found in an organelle called chloroplast. These are present in large numbers in the cells, nearly 40 to 100. Chloroplasts are present in each cell of the plant tissues like stomatal guard cells and ground tissue of the plants. In the year 1954, Daniel I. Arnon, a scientist called Daniel I. Arnon, was able to isolate the chloroplasts by breaking the plant cell without damaging it. Now let us observe the transversal section of the leaf to see the chloroplasts, to find out the chloroplasts. This is the transversal section of the leaf, and in which we can see both the epidermal cells on both sides, that is upper epidermis and lower epidermis. and these two epidermal cell layers are covered by a wax-like layer called cuticle. Generally, epidermis protects against the water loss and regulates the gaseous exchange. It regulates the water loss and it regulates the gaseous exchange. And between these two epidermal layers, loosely packed tissue called mesophyll is present. The mesophyll is differentiated into palisade parenchyma and sponge parenchyma. The palisade parenchyma is closely packed without intercellular spaces and contain more chloroplasts than the spongy parenchyma. And the spongy parenchyma have irregular cells and with more intercellular spaces, and these cells contain less chloroplasts, and we can see these dot-like structures are nothing but the chloroplasts. In the center of the leaf, a midvein is present. It contains xylem towards upper epidermis and phloem towards the lower epidermis. And already we know that the xylem is meant for the transporting of water and minerals from root to all other parts of the plant, whereas phloem transports the food material from leaf to the other parts of the plant. And let us discuss about the stomata. This is the structure of stomata, and generally the stomata are present a large number in the lower lower epidermis. The tiny openings which are present at lower epidermis are called stomata, and the opening of the stomata is called stoma. This opening is called stoma, and each stoma is covered by a kidney shaped cells, what we call them God cells, and each God cell contain a nucleus, a vacuole and many chloroplasts. And these stomata are meant for the gaseous exchange, that means carbon dioxide and oxygen. They allow the carbon dioxide in and out, and they allow the oxygen also in and out for the processes like respiration and photosynthesis. And one more important function of stomata is transpiration. That means the removal of excess water from the plant in the form of water vapor. So the gaseous exchange and transpiration are the main functions of the stomata. Now, let us have a quick look at the contents what we learnt in this session. The role of light in the process of photosynthesis. Under this caption, we have discussed two experiments, that is hydrilla experiment, which proves that oxygen is produced during the photosynthesis in the presence of light, and the black paper experiment or light screen experiment, which shows that sunlight is essential for the process of photosynthesis. And regarding the role of chlorophyll in the process of photosynthesis, we have observed the transversal section of a leaf and the stomata, the structure of stomata. That's all in this section. Thank you.